The summer night in the alien city was quiet. Too quiet. Neon lights flickered softly across floating islands, casting long shadows on the glowing streets. Suddenly, alarms blared through the air. Strange energy rippled nearby, breaking the calm. From a shimmering portal, a group of human children stumbled out, wide-eyed and confused. They looked terrified, as if they had been ripped from their world and thrown into a dream they did not understand. The aliens on patrol were the first to see them. They froze. These humans were unlike anything they had ever encountered. Their skin was soft and pale, their clothes thin and casual, perfect for an Earth summer. But here, in this vibrant city filled with glowing beings and futuristic machines, they stood out like a sore thumb. "Who are they?" one alien whispered, his glowing eyes narrowing. His voice was calm but edged with fear. "How did they get here? Are they a threat?" The children, still shaken, tried to speak. Their voices trembled, but no alien language came out. The patrol hesitated. The city's security protocol was clear. Any unidentified visitors had to be detained until their intentions were known. Slowly, the patrol moved forward, their movements careful and deliberate. They surrounded the kids, who now huddled together, searching the strange faces for answers. No one tried to run. The humans looked confused, but they showed no aggression. "We must bring them in," the lead alien said firmly, activating a soft energy field that gently contained the children. It wasn't a cage. It was more like a bubble of safety, designed to protect and isolate without harm. As they moved the children through the glowing streets, a crowd began to gather. Aliens of all shapes and colors stopped to stare. Whispers filled the air. The city had never seen anything like this before. Fear mixed with curiosity. Were these human spies? Refugees? Or victims of some terrible accident? Inside the holding area, the children sat quietly. Some wiped tears from their faces. Others clung to each other, trying to make sense of this impossible situation. Outside, the aliens debated what to do. There was no record of humans visiting before. No one knew if these children had come by chance, or if something darker had brought them here. Among the crowd, an elder alien scientist observed quietly. Her eyes glowed a deep blue as she studied the children. There was something about their fear, their innocence, that stirred a protective feeling inside her. She stepped forward and asked to speak with the patrol leader. "We should not treat them as criminals," she said softly. "They are frightened. They do not belong here. Perhaps we can learn from them instead of fearing them." The patrol leader hesitated. The city's rules were strict, but something in the elder's calm voice made him pause. Back in the holding area, one of the children, a boy no older than 10, looked up and whispered, "Where are we? Please, someone help." His voice cracked, but it caught the attention of the elder scientist. She moved closer, speaking slowly and carefully, hoping her words would bridge the gap. "You are safe here," she said. "We do not want to hurt you." The boy's eyes searched hers, searching for truth. Slowly he nodded. Outside, tension lingered. The city's leaders demanded answers. How had humans crossed the vast distances between worlds without detection? Was this a warning of something more dangerous? But inside, in the quiet moments, a fragile connection was forming between two very different worlds. Fear was still there, but so was hope. The summer night stretched on, filled with glowing lights and silent questions. And for the first time, the aliens wondered, could these human children bring a new future to their world? The detention room was quiet, but the tension inside was thick enough to cut with a knife. The human children sat close together, their eyes wide with fear and confusion. The aliens watched them carefully, their glowing eyes reflecting a mix of suspicion and uncertainty. None of the patrol wanted to be the first to make a mistake. They knew the rules. No unknown visitors could be allowed to roam freely. But these were children, and something about their innocence was hard to ignore. One of the aliens, a tall figure with shimmering green skin and soft violet eyes, stepped forward. Her name was Lyra, a scientist known for her empathy and wisdom. She knelt down to the children's level, speaking in gentle tones. "You are safe here," she said slowly, "but you must answer. How did you come to this place?" The children exchanged glances. None of them understood this strange language, but somehow, Lyra's calm presence made the fear ease just a little. The youngest boy, Michael, swallowed hard and finally found his voice. "We don't know how we got here. One moment we were at the park, playing, and the next everything changed." The alien patrol leader frowned. "No one simply arrives through the void. There must be a reason. Were you brought here? Are you being used as weapons?" "No, we're just kids," Michael insisted. "Please. We didn't mean to come here." Lyra studied Michael's face. She saw the truth in his eyes. But the city's leaders wouldn't listen to feelings or doubts. They wanted facts. Protocol demanded caution. The children had to remain detained until answers could be found. Outside the detention area, the city buzzed with uneasy whispers. Word spread fast that humans were among them, a species never seen before. Some aliens were frightened. What if these children were the advance guard of an invasion? Others were curious. How could children from another world appear out of nowhere? Back inside, Lyra sat with the kids, trying to build trust. She used a small device that emitted images and sounds, a translator of sorts. She showed them pictures of the city, trying to explain where they were. The children responded with nods and fearful questions. "We must find a way to communicate," Lyra said softly. "If we understand each other, maybe we can find answers." Just then, a deep rumble shook the city. Lights flickered, and the floating islands trembled slightly. Panic swept through the alien population. The energy core, the heart of the city, was unstable. The city was built on delicate technology, and failure could mean disaster. The patrol leader turned to Lyra. "We need to secure the children and protect them. But more than that, we need to stabilize the core. If it collapses, no one survives." Lyra nodded, her mind racing. "There may be a way. Humans are clever. Maybe these children can help." The idea was met with shock. How could a group of terrified kids, lost and confused, help fix a complex alien system? Yet desperation left no choice. Lyra approached Michael and the others. "We face a crisis. The city's energy is failing. If you can help, it could save us all." Michael looked around at his friends. Fear was still there, but so was determination. "We'll try," he said firmly. "We have to." The alien guards led the children to a control center, glowing with strange symbols and flickering lights. The core's energy was unstable, pulsing erratically. Lyra explained what she could, but the technology was unlike anything the kids had seen. Still, they worked together, combining human intuition and alien knowledge. The children suggested simple ideas, balancing energy flows, rerouting power. Slowly, the core's rhythm steadied. As the city stabilized, hope returned. The alien suspicion began to fade, replaced by respect. These children, once detainees, had become unlikely heroes. The summer night felt different now. It was no longer just a glowing city on distant floating islands. It was a place where two worlds met, where fear gave way to friendship, and where the impossible became possible. And somewhere in the stars above, the promise of a new future shone brighter than ever before. The energy core hummed steadily now, its unstable pulse calming into a smooth rhythm. The city's glowing lights brightened, and the floating islands settled gently back into place. The crisis had passed, but the tension lingered in the air. The aliens looked at the human children differently now, no longer as strangers or detainees, but as problem solvers, maybe even friends. Lyra stood beside the children in the softly lit control center. "You have done something remarkable," she said, her voice warm. "You saved this city." Michael glanced around, surprised. "We just tried to help," he said quietly. "We didn't know what to expect." The aliens nodded in agreement. For all their advanced technology, it was the children's simple, fresh ideas that made the difference. The city's leaders were beginning to understand that fear had almost blinded them. Outside the control room, the neon-lit streets were coming alive again. The summer festival, paused by the emergency, was ready to resume. Floating lanterns drifted in the air, casting gentle glows on the crowd below. Music, alien but beautiful, began to play, inviting the children and aliens alike to celebrate. Lyra motioned for the kids to follow her. "Come. The city wants to thank you." The children stepped out into the warm night. They marveled at the glowing plants, the softly humming machines, and the diverse crowd of aliens who were now smiling at them. Some waved, others approached cautiously, but everyone seemed eager to share this moment. A young alien girl, her skin shimmering like liquid silver, took Michael's hand. "Welcome," she said, her voice musical and kind. "You have brought hope." The kids smiled, feeling a warmth they hadn't expected. Despite the strangeness of the place, they were beginning to belong. As they moved through the city, the children saw wonders beyond their wildest dreams. Streets paved with crystal that lit up underfoot, towers that twisted toward the sky like spiraling vines, floating islands connected by bridges made of light. It was a summer unlike any they had ever known, magical, surreal, yet somehow familiar. Lyra stayed close, watching the children's wonder with a soft smile. "This city is built on trust and balance," she explained. "It thrives when its people work together, even across differences." The children nodded, understanding more than words could say. Their own world, Earth, often struggled with fear of the unknown. Here, they saw what was possible when curiosity overcame suspicion. The festival's music grew louder. Aliens danced gracefully, their movements fluid and mesmerizing. The kids hesitated at first, but then joined in, laughter spilling from their lips. In that moment, summer felt like a bridge, connecting hearts and worlds. Yet, even amid the joy, Lyra knew challenges lay ahead. The arrival of humans was unprecedented. Questions remained about how they came here and what it meant for both worlds. But for now, celebration was needed. Later, as the stars twinkled overhead, Lyra gathered the children again. "Tomorrow we will try to understand more," she said gently. "Tonight, rest. You have earned it." Michael looked up at the glowing sky, feeling a mix of awe and hope. This summer was unlike any other, and though the future was uncertain, he knew one thing for sure. This was only the beginning of a remarkable journey. As the city pulsed with life around them, the humans and aliens shared a silent promise. They would face whatever came next, together. The summer night stretched on, full of glowing light, new friendships, and the promise of tomorrow. Language was the greatest barrier between the human children and the alien city. Words spoken by the glowing inhabitants sounded like music, but meant nothing to the ears of the children. And the children's own language was a mystery to the aliens. But even without words, understanding began to grow. Lyra introduced a small, glowing device that hovered in the air between them. It was a translator of sorts, but not for language alone. It captured emotions, images, and gestures, transforming them into symbols both humans and aliens could comprehend. With patience, the children and aliens began to share. Michael pointed to a drawing of the sun on a piece of paper, showing the warmth it brought to Earth's summers. One of the aliens, with skin that shimmered like liquid crystal, touched the image gently, her eyes lighting up. She responded by creating a glowing orb that radiated a similar warmth, a summer sun of their own. Slowly, a new language emerged, a language of feelings, images, and shared experience. The children drew pictures of Earth parks, ice cream, and summer rain. The aliens responded with holograms of their floating islands, glowing flowers, and the delicate energy fields that kept their city aloft. With every exchange, walls fell away. Curiosity replaced fear. Lyra watched as the children laughed for the first time since their arrival, their smiles bright against the alien glow. The aliens, too, seemed transformed, their starlit eyes reflecting wonder and hope. But beyond these moments of connection, the city buzzed with tension. Some among the alien leaders feared the humans' presence. What if their technology was dangerous? What if more arrived, uninvited and uncontrollable? In a quiet corner, the city's chief strategist met with Lyra. "These children are a mystery," he said grimly. "Their arrival might be a symptom of a larger threat." Lyra nodded, troubled. "We must learn from them, not judge." Meanwhile, the children wanted to learn more too. They asked about the city's energy core, the floating islands, and the strange machines humming softly everywhere. Lyra explained as best she could, showing holograms and simple diagrams. The children listened, fascinated. They began to understand the delicate balance that kept this alien world alive, the same balance that had almost been broken before their arrival. Night deepened, but the sharing continued. The children spoke of Earth's summers, the feel of grass under bare feet, the sound of cicadas in the heat, the taste of cold lemonade. The aliens shared their stories too, of light storms that painted the sky, of plants that sang when touched, and of summer nights filled with endless stars. Though separated by worlds and language, the children and aliens found a common thread, a shared love of summer, light, and hope. In this fragile new language, trust took root. But the questions lingered. How had these children crossed the vast void? Could their worlds truly be connected? And what did this mean for the future of both? As the first light of dawn touched the glowing city, a quiet promise settled between them all: to listen, to learn, and to face whatever came next, together. A sudden tremor ran through the city, just as dawn's first light painted the sky in soft purples and blues. The floating islands shuddered, and the glowing pathways flickered uncertainly. Panic rose quickly among the aliens. The energy core, the vital heart of the city, was failing once again. But this time, the danger was greater. The city's delicate balance was breaking down faster than anyone had ever seen. Lyra and the patrol leader raced toward the control center, their faces tense with worry. The children, still learning the language and customs of this alien world, followed closely behind, sensing the urgency even if they did not understand all the details. Inside the control room, the lights blinked wildly. Screens displayed chaotic data streams, warning alarms sounded. The core's power output was dangerously erratic. If it collapsed, the entire city could plunge into darkness, and the floating islands might fall from the sky. "This is worse than before," Lyra said, her voice tight. "We need to stabilize the core immediately." The patrol leader nodded grimly. "We cannot do this alone. We need all help we can get." The children exchanged fearful glances, but stood firm. Michael stepped forward, his eyes shining with quiet determination. "We want to help," he said. "We know how to fix problems together." Lyra looked at him, surprised by his courage. "All right," she said softly. "Let's try." The control room buzzed with nervous energy. The aliens operated their complex systems, while the children observed, trying to understand. The core was powered by advanced technology, but it also relied on balance, energy flows that were delicate and precise. Michael remembered the games he played back on Earth, puzzles that required patience and logic. Try balancing the flows like a seesaw, he suggested, pointing at the control panels. If one side is too heavy, the other goes up. Maybe you can reroute power to keep things steady. The aliens watched him carefully, then cautiously adjusted the controls as he advised. Slowly, the erratic surges began to calm. The core's energy pulse steadied, its chaotic flickering turning into a steady glow. A cheer rose from the room. The crisis was easing. But just as relief began to settle, the screens flashed another warning. A hidden fault in the core's containment field was spreading, a crack that could tear the city apart. "We have to repair it physically," Lyra said, her face pale. "But the place is dangerous." Michael glanced at his friends. "We have to do it," he said firmly. "We can't let the city fall." Suiting up in protective gear designed by the aliens, the children prepared to enter the heart of the city's power grid, a labyrinth of glowing tunnels and humming machinery. The journey was tense. Every step echoed with a hum of failing energy. Lights flickered overhead. Strange creatures, usually peaceful, scurried away from the disturbance. But the children pressed on, their courage stronger than their fear. At the core's heart, they found a crack, a jagged line of unstable energy, sparking and twisting dangerously. Lyra guided them. "Place these stabilizers along the crack. They will absorb the energy and seal the fault." Michael and his friends worked quickly, their small hands steady as they attached the devices. The crack began to glow softly, then shrink, until it finally disappeared. The city's power restored, the floating islands stopped trembling. The glowing pathways lit up once more, and the alarms faded into silence. Back in the control room, relief washed over everyone. The children had not only saved the city once, they had done it again, proving their worth and bravery. Lyra smiled at them. "You have shown us that courage and hope can come from the most unexpected places." Michael looked around, feeling a deep connection to this alien world. The summer night outside promised many more challenges, but also new friendships. The city was safe, for now, and the story of these human children was only just beginning. The city buzzed with cautious optimism as the sun dipped below the horizon. The floating islands shimmered against the deepening twilight, casting soft reflections on the glowing waters below. For the first time since their arrival, the human children felt a fragile sense of belonging. They were no longer just visitors or detainees. They were part of something greater, a story unfolding between worlds. But the peace was fragile. The alien leaders held a secret meeting in the towering spire that pierced the sky like a shard of crystal. Lyra was there, standing among the elders, whose faces were lined with worry and doubt. "The children have proven their value," the chief elder admitted, his voice heavy with concern. "But their arrival has upset more than just our energy core. There are ripples beyond our city, disturbances we cannot ignore." Lyra frowned. "What kind of disturbances?" The elders' eyes darkened. "There are forces watching us, forces from the deeper void between stars. Your humans arriving here may have alerted them." Back in the city, the children played near a glowing tree, their laughter light and pure. But Michael's gaze kept drifting to the sky, where unfamiliar stars twinkled in patterns he didn't recognize. The feeling of being watched crept over him like a shadow. That night, a strange hum filled the air, low and vibrating. The ground beneath the city trembled faintly. The aliens called the void pulse, a warning from the dark reaches beyond their world. Lyra rushed to the children. "You must be careful," she warned. "Our city is no longer hidden. Others may come. The children exchanged nervous looks. The summer magic they had felt was now tinged with uncertainty. The next day, scouts reported a dark shape moving in the distance, a massive vessel unlike anything seen before. Its hull was covered in jagged spikes, glowing with cold, unnatural light. It moved slowly, deliberately, as if searching. The alien leaders convened once more, tension thick in the air. "They have come for the humans," one said grimly. "Or for what they represent." Lyra turned to the children. "We must prepare. This summer is unlike any other." Michael's heart pounded. He knew their journey was far from over. They had crossed galaxies by accident, but now their presence had meaning. They were part of a larger story, a story with stakes higher than any of them imagined. As night fell, the city's glow dimmed slightly, shadows stretching longer. The children gathered with their alien friends, hands tightly clasped. Hope and fear mingled in their eyes. Above, the stars whispered secrets, and the summer sky held its breath. The adventure had only just begun. The alien city's calm was shattered when the dark vessel drew closer, its jagged silhouette blotting out stars and casting long shadows over the glowing floating islands. A low hum, like a heartbeat, pulsed through the air, sending chills down every spine. The invaders had come, not just for the humans, but for the power their presence had awakened. Lyra gathered the children and the city's defenders in the central plaza, its crystalline spires gleaming faintly under the alien stars. "These are not ordinary visitors," she warned. "They come from the void, the dark space beyond our light. Their technology feeds on energy, and they seek to consume what sustains our city." Michael clenched his fists, determination hardening his features. "We won't let them destroy your home," he said firmly. His friends nodded in agreement, their fear giving way to resolve. The Alien Council activated the city's defenses, shimmering shields weaving a protective dome over the islands. But the invader ship was unlike anything they had faced, a living machine, pulsating with dark energy that warped reality itself. Their weapons fired beams that crackled with shadow, tearing through barriers. Lyra turned to the children. "You helped stabilize the core before. Now, you must help us protect it." The children studied the energy core's control room, recalling how their ideas had saved the city once. This time, the challenge was greater. The core was both the city's lifeline and its greatest vulnerability. Michael noticed something new, a pattern in the invaders' attacks. They struck in waves, each assault weakening the core's defenses. He realized they were trying to force the core into overload, to shatter it and bring down the city. "Maybe we can use their attacks against them," Michael suggested. "If we can control the core's energy flow, we could create a feedback loop. It would bounce their own power back at them." Lyra's eyes lit up. "It's risky, but it might work." The children worked alongside alien engineers, their hands steady as they adjusted the core's intricate systems. The city trembled as waves of dark energy crashed against the shields, but the feedback loop began to take shape. Suddenly, the core pulsed with blinding light, sending a shockwave rippling through space. The invader's ship shuddered violently, its dark energy faltering. Beams of pure light erupted from the city, piercing the shadows and striking the vessel. The attackers screamed in frustration, retreating into the void from which they came. The city's shields held firm, glowing brighter than ever. Cheers erupted across the floating islands. The humans and aliens embraced, their bond stronger than fear or war. But as the night deepened, Lyra knew this victory was only temporary. The void was vast and relentless, and the dark forces would return. Michael looked up at the stars, a new resolve burning within him. This summer had brought them to a world far from home, but it had also forged an unbreakable alliance. Together, humans and aliens would stand against the darkness, guardians of a fragile, glowing summer light that promised hope across the galaxies. The alien city was bathed in a soft, golden light as dawn broke across the floating islands. The victory over the void invaders had lifted a heavy weight, but the air remained thick with unease. The battle had been fierce, and while the city stood, scars marked its glowing surfaces. The children and aliens gathered once more in the central plaza, their faces illuminated by the gentle light of a new beginning. Lyra stood beside Michael, her eyes reflecting pride and a hint of worry. "You have changed everything," she said softly, "not just by saving the city, but by reminding us that hope and courage can bridge even the widest galaxies." Michael looked around at his friends, faces weary but bright with the promise of tomorrow. "We came here by accident," he said, "but maybe that was fate. Maybe we were meant to find each other." The aliens nodded, understanding that this meeting of worlds was no mere coincidence. It was a beginning, a chance to learn, to grow, and to protect one another against dangers yet unknown. As the children explored the city one last time before preparing to return home, they noticed something remarkable. The city's energy core, once fragile and unstable, now pulsed with a steady, vibrant light. It seemed stronger than ever, as if the bond between humans and aliens had infused it with new life. Lyra explained, "The core responds to connection. Your presence, your courage, it awakens something within it. It is alive in a way we had never imagined." Michael reached out and touched the glowing surface of the core. Warmth spread through his fingers, filling him with a sense of belonging far beyond any place on Earth. But the question remained, how would they return home? The vast distances between stars were no simple obstacle. Lyra smiled gently. "There is a path, a hidden portal deep within the city's heart. It can take you back to your world. But it requires trust between us, and belief in what we have built together." The children nodded, understanding that this farewell was not an end, but a promise of future journeys. As they approached the portal, shimmering with iridescent light, Michael turned back to Lyra. "Will we see you again?" "We will," she replied. "This is only the first summer of many." With a final wave, the children stepped into the portal. A swirl of colors surrounded them, and then, as if riding a gentle current through space, they found themselves back in their familiar park, sunlight filtering through the trees. For a moment, everything seemed unchanged. But in their hearts, something had shifted. They carried the memory of glowing cities, floating islands, and friends beyond the stars. And as the summer breeze whispered through the leaves, Michael knew that no matter how vast the universe, hope, courage, and friendship would always find a way to shine. The story was over for now, but the adventure, the connection, and the promise of new worlds would live on forever.